3, 2, 1, action.
Greetings and welcome to another yet exciting conversation. We shall be deliberating on the subject of sex and temptation. You may want to style it sexual temptation or sexual temptations. And this is Josh Charisma, excited to share with you what I have as understanding on the subject. Now, we live in a world that has been dangerously sexualized. The internet has been sexualized. Advertisement or commercials have been sexualized. Sports has been sexualized. And of course, music, movies, literature has been sexualized. We have romantic and erotic novels. And the porn industry is one of the richest industries in the world. And who contributes to the money that the actors enjoy and the corporate players enjoy? Who contributes to this money? The consumers. And who are the consumers? Human beings. The human preoccupation with sex is nothing new. Human beings for a very long time have been exploring all shades of sordid desires, wanting to give expression to whatever their sexual drive is inviting them to experience. And today we want to particularly look at how you can position yourself in such a world that is throwing a lot of things at you that would make you lose your morals, that would make you walk away from your commitment to live a life of purity, sexual purity to be precise. You know that sex at a very primary and basic level could either refer to a person's gender, whether they are male or female, in the normal sense of the word, in the primary sense of the word, or it could be an intimate encounter between a man and a woman. You know what I'm talking about. Now, how can you position yourself to overcome sexual temptations? I want to start by saying that temptation is a combination of enticement and desire. When you have enticement plus desire, it will produce temptation. Then you have temptation on your hands. And the devil is doing everything to raise the level of enticement to the point where you will not need too much of desire to be able to give expression to the yearnings of the flesh. So he turns the volume and makes it so irresistibly appealing that you find yourself helplessly drawn to something you know you should not do. That is what temptation is. When you have a pull, when something is pulling you and you feel as if you are literally having a tug of war within your being because you feel like doing something you know you should not do, and yet you want to know what it feels like. We have classic examples in the Bible of people who were tempted. Some brought it upon themselves, and some were on their own when temptation crawled into their comfort zone. We can talk about the man David in the Bible, the man styled as a man after God's heart, who was tempted. Yes, he was. But he brought it upon himself because he was idling. At the time when kings were going to war, he was idling back at home. So temptation found him off guard. And then we have the man Joseph. His story is beautifully recorded in Genesis chapter 39. Joseph is busy minding his business in the workplace, doing the best that he can to maintain his status as a man of integrity that he was, And here is Potiphar's wife wanting to have him, desiring to have him. And Joseph has this woman beckoning on him and pulling him to enter into her matrimonial bed and have a carnal encounter with her. But thankfully, Joseph escapes her dragnet. And that's why we have Joseph as one of our heroes when we talk about sexual purity today. Sex has taken on several meanings in our generation. And even more so, it has taken on a lot of interpretations and expressions in our generation. Many years ago, when you talked about sex, it was really just about a man meeting a woman. Okay? It was about a man meeting a woman. But where the world is now, we now hear about men having sex with men and women having sex with women. Okay, it's crazy. And not just that, we now hear of people trying to satisfy themselves by themselves. You hear about dildos, you hear about vibrators, you hear about masturbation, of course. You hear about pornography and all kinds of perversions. People having carnal knowledge of animals, people sleeping with blood relatives, incest, people forcing themselves on others, rape, and the story goes on and on and on. We seem to be experiencing an advanced version of the Sodom Gomorrah way of life. It's unfortunate. So how do you help yourself overcome the sexual temptations that are calling your name from every direction? First of all, you should be careful with what you watch. You heard me right. What you watch. The content that you feed your soul with will either strengthen your values or compromise the same. So be careful with what you watch. On TV, the movie industry is more interested in making money than in helping you protect your principles. You should know that. And they can try to give us subtle signals that they care by giving you parental guidance and viewer discretion and all that, but they don't really care that much. Nobody can be more intentional about helping you maintain your principles, purity, and convictions and values like you. So you have to take that responsibility to be the gatekeeper of your own life. Again, when I talk about being careful with what you watch, you should know that the fact that you have data and that you are online doesn't mean you should watch every video you stumble on. Be selective about the content that you feast on, because what you feast on can at some point start feasting on you. The next thing I want you to know is avoid sexually stimulating or arousing conversations. This is very important. If you're having conversations, whether with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, you should, man friend, woman friend, just a friend that is a boy or a friend that is a girl, nothing romantic. And then you people start talking about, bedroom activities, or you're having a conversation with the person you're in courtship with, and you start talking about bedroom activities, you will soon give expression to your fantasies, even as you discuss them. So avoid those kind of conversations. Avoid social arrangements that are meant to compromise your standards and principles. We have orgies, ORGIES, some of those wild parties, some of those parties that people go to and they give them all kinds of crazy rules, and they have to do all kinds of nasty, immoral things in those